Hi, guys. So excited to be with you guys on this Monday Body, Soul, Spirit podcast, where our goal, right, together is to become whole, zozo, healed. Zozo comes from the word healed. It means whole, it means that you are complete, lacking nothing, nothing broken. And we want that to be your goal, to be whole in body, to be whole in spirit, and to be whole in your soul as well. I titled today and this podcast, Do You Like You? That's an important question. Don't be so quick and prompt to answer yes. Do you like you? Oftentimes, I find that forgiveness is at the, or unforgiveness, I should say, is at the heart of our soul. Now, keep in mind when we talk about all these things like acceptance, loving ourselves, do we like us, do we like ourselves, etc. It's everything having to do with our heart. Now, if our mind is at array and a chaos and we find ourselves in our thought life to be a little bit cluttered, if you will, wrong thoughts, we meditate on the wrong things, more than likely there's issues of the heart, because it doesn't happen this way. So please understand this. If there's issues with the mind, there's probably issues of the heart, because it doesn't start in the mind first, it starts in the heart. So when you want to see how the heart's condition is, we've got to look, or if you want to see how the heart is, you got to look at your mind. If your mind is chaotic, your mind fluctuates from the good things to the bad things constantly, you're not in a stable place emotionally or healthy place in the mind, more than likely something's happening in the heart. So we got to look at the heart. And oftentimes we harbor unforgiveness. That's right. Oftentimes we bypass it, right? We think like, we've forgiven everybody, I don't have anybody else to forgive. But I love a quote: forgiveness is really an ongoing attitude. It's not a one-time event. We have to check our hearts every once in a while. Why am I talking about unforgiveness? Because my podcast today and its title is Do You Like You? And when we don't like us, ourselves, more than likely there is unforgiveness in the heart. Whenever we have a hard time accepting ourselves, we have unforgiveness. Whenever we have a hard time liking ourselves, there's probably unforgiveness that is harbored inside our heart. And maybe if you do some soul searching, you will find that oftentimes you either have unforgiveness towards yourself, or you have unforgiveness maybe towards a season, or you have unforgiveness towards somebody who left you or something you lost. You might have a bitter memory. It's possible to even have bitterness towards a memory. You might have bitterness towards a season. You might have bitterness towards the past or towards a family member or what have you. But I want, during this podcast and this time together, for you to check your heart. Are you harboring unforgiveness towards yourself? Is there a bitter memory that you have? Because that's going to lead us to what? It's going to actually lead us to self-judgment, and it's going to lead us to not liking ourselves. Believe it or not. But holding on to unforgiveness is going to lead you to not liking you. How does that correlate? Well, a lot. Because when you are a person who harbors this kind of feeling of like, I don't like me, I don't really care too much for myself, more than likely you're going to find a lot of things there. More than likely you're going to find that there's going to be some self-judgment. You're going to be hard on yourself. You're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel shameful. You don't accept yourself very well. You're hard on you. You condemn yourself, right? Instead of being compassionate with yourself or understanding the why behind what you do, the things that you do. If you are a person that maybe looks in the mirror and you don't really like a lot of things in your life, or you don't like you, there's like some low self-esteem there, and then we cover up with a lot of things, right? We try to pretend, play the part, or we identify ourselves with other things, with external things. More than likely there's unforgiveness. And I want you to check that. More than likely there's a bitter memory. More than likely you haven't really done the work for or of a particular season that you were in. So I want you to just kind of look within. Let me ask you this question. When you have a problem with self acceptance, when you don't really accept yourself, you don't really like you, then you can't get on the road to healing. Healing begins when you start to like you. I'm going to repeat that. Healing begins when you start to like you. Like, I like me, flawed me. Not to say that you're going to stay flawed. And that's not to say you're going to conform to this version of yourself with all the mistakes. I'm not giving you a license to stay there. I'm not telling you to not get excellent and hardworking and stop being lazy, and just stay lazy. What I'm saying is that when you get on the journey to liking you, you accept the failure, but don't stay there. You accept the mistakes, but you don't keep repeating them. You learn from the past. When you start to like you and you start to accept yourself, you start to learn things about yourself, right? You understand that maybe you became a certain way because of the hurts that you were holding on to. You became a certain way maybe because of the pain that you underwent, or maybe a bitter season, right, caused maybe some things to rise in your life, and that's not a license to stay there, but it does mean that you start to learn a lot of things about yourself. So what does it look like when I like myself? What does it look like when I accept myself? It means that you accept the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then you get to learn things about yourself. Why did I do that? Why was I like that? Why did I respond that way? Why was I so harsh? Why do I condemn myself? Why am I critical about myself? What's going on? And so, liking yourself doesn't necessarily mean you wake up hugging yourself, kissing yourself, an unhealthy, right? Prideful, arrogant kind of self where it's just like, oh, I love myself. Well, no. What I'm saying is that you have accepted the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have accepted that this is part of your story, that you have accepted that this last previous chapter that was like probably the worst season of your life, but that you understand that God used it, and that maybe God used it to process some areas in your life. Liking yourself doesn't mean that you go around and with this arrogance because externally I've got all my T's crossed and my dotted I's. It just means that you are now understanding a lot about you, that you made those mistakes and some of it were your fault and you own that, but I don't condemn myself for it. I learned from it. um, Liking yourself, accepting yourself is really a place where you start to look in the mirror, and even with the flaws, right, those areas in your life, you're like, I really don't like this about myself. Okay, but what can I do about it? How can I change? How can I better respond? What can I learn from that season? And you're actually just putting all your energy into learning, and you're putting your energy into all these experiences that you've had in the past, and then you own it, take responsibility. You don't excuse it, you don't conform, you don't stay there, but you own it and you go, I'm going to just try the next time. I'm going to try harder. The next time I'm going to do better. The next time I'm not going to respond that way. And that is starting to get on the journey of liking yourself. Self acceptance is key to healing. If you don't accept yourself, you are not going to allow others to accept you. You're probably going to be a people pleaser, codependent, right? Secretly not liking yourself. And I don't want you to not like yourself. And I'll leave you with this nugget. If you find yourself where you still have some hurts that are lodged in your soul, and you have some unforgiveness that maybe hasn't worked out, and you haven't worked it out in your soul, more than likely you're one of those people that if you don't like yourself, you probably replay the scene over and over and over. Are you one of those? Now, don't laugh. You're going to know my age because I'm in the era of the VHS. And we had that big old, to play a movie, you had to sit there. Yes, believe it or not, Blockbuster. You had to rewind it, and you had to sit there for about 10 minutes and rewind every movie. You don't have that. This new generation doesn't understand what I'm saying. But why I say this is it's almost like that VHS that we had, and we just replay it and then we play it, rewind it, replay it, rewind it, replay it. And we just replay these things, and these feelings are there, and then resentment is growing, unforgiveness is growing. If you find yourself replaying things of the past continually, and I'm not saying you don't have memories. What I'm saying is just you keep replaying these things that happened maybe months ago, weeks ago, years ago. You replay it, the feelings come up. more than likely there's unforgiveness and resentment in your heart. And that's not letting you accept you. That is not letting you like you. And liking you is key to healing. If you don't like you, you're not going to be able to heal well. So check your soul. And I leave you with this challenge. Check your soul. Is there unforgiveness? Is there resentment? Is there a bitter memory that maybe you haven't done the work and you haven't recognized that there is unforgiveness? Maybe you need to forgive yourself. Maybe you need to forgive some areas in your life, decisions that you've made that perhaps were stemming from some trauma that came to you and that happened to you. If that's the case, learn to let go and forgive yourself so that you no longer hold on to these resentful feelings. You don't go into replay mode and you're able to start to like yourself. I want to get you on that journey. Start liking yourself. All of you, every part of you. When you do, listen to me, your relationships change because people will treat you the way you treat you. People will see you the way you see you. That's key to relationships and even your relationship with God. I love you guys. I hope we're on this journey together. Get on this journey together with me. I want to keep you this whole week thinking about that. Do I harbor unforgiveness? Do I have resentment still? Is there bitter memories? And all of that is causing me to not like me. If that's the case, let's journey it together. Let's forgive, let's let go, and let's move forward. We'll see you guys next time.